We all know sherry finished whiskey is a thing, but this here is a sherry finished old fashioned. Let me show you how to make it. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Matt, I'm the whiskey nerd, and like I said, this week I'm making an old fashioned with a different type of ingredient because I'm using sherry to sweeten up my cocktail. Now, I kind of got the idea for this cocktail when I was reviewing the Whistler Oloroso Sherry Cask finished whiskey, and if you missed that review, I'll put a link up there, I'll put a link down below. But suffice to say, this is a very nice classic Irish whiskey that really leans into the sherry finish in the barrel. On the nose, in the palate, and in the finish, you get a really strong sherry influence on the whiskey, and I thought to myself, I should really make a sherry old fashioned, a whiskey based cocktail, yes, but sweetened up with a bit of sherry. Now, the sherry I'm using is not Oloroso sherry. Now, the whiskey I know was finished in Oloroso sherry, but I'm using PX sherry because I tried a couple of different sherries. I tried a Palo Cortado sherry, I tried an Oloroso sherry, and I tried the PX sherry. And the other ones, they're just they weren't sweet enough. I had to add so much of the sherry to the cocktail. It was kind of overpowering the whiskey, whereas the PX sherry is rich, it's syrupy, has this really nice sweet texture, and adds a lot to a cocktail with only a small amount, still letting the whiskey shine through into the cocktail. I'll also be using a little bit of Angostura bitters and a little bit of orange bitters to round out the cocktail and just really make it nice and complete. So I think it's time we just get right into it and let's make our cocktail. We're going to be starting off with our mixing glass, and we're going to pop a nice rock of ice into there, and then we're going to measure out our ingredients. We're going to go in with 45 ml or 1.5 ounces of our sherry finished whiskey. So this is, like I said, the Whistler sherry finished whiskey, the Oloroso sherry finished whiskey. It is a very nice whiskey. It's blended, but it has a nice amount of malt in the whiskey. Has this really nice kind of rich malty taste to the whiskey that complements, I think, the sherry very well. For our sherry, we're only going to go in with 10 ml. So we're going to go in with a very small amount of sherry in here because it's very sweet. It's got figs, raisins, kind of Christmas cake spices, Christmas cake fruits. If you think of those dark kind of berries, dark fruits, think of them that have been stewed, that have really allowed all the sugars to caramelize. That's the taste of PX sherry, and that's why I'm choosing this over the other sherries, because they just didn't have that same weight that the PX sherry has. So I'm gonna go in with just 10 ml of our PX sherry into there, and that's gonna have a huge impact on our final cocktail. Then for our bitters, we're gonna go in with 1 dash of Angostura and then 2 dash of orange, because like I said, the sherry has a great influence, but one of the things it gives to a whiskey is it gives this kind of orange note, this orange zest, orange peel note, and I want to highlight that, so I'm going to go in with 2 dashes of our orange bitters into the cocktail, and then we're just going to stir it down for about 20-30 seconds until it's nice and cold. Okay, that is nicely chilled now, so I'm going to get ready to strain it out into our glass. So I've got a nice chilled rocks glass. I'm going to put another block of ice into there, and then we're going to strain out our cocktail onto that nice fresh rock of ice. So we're going to just quickly, nice and simply strain it out, but it's not exactly finished yet because we're going to go in with one last element, an orange peel. We're just going to express the oils of an orange peel over the top of the glass, rub it in to really, again, highlight the orange notes you get, pop that in, and that right there is a sherry finished old fashioned. Now real quick before I taste this cocktail, if you're new here, scroll down, hit that subscribe button. I put out cocktail recipes like this featuring whiskey every Friday, and I put out whiskey reviews every Wednesday, so if you want to see more, make sure you hit subscribe. That is rich, that is decadent, that is, it's so many layers to this kind of whiskey cocktail, because you've got the whiskey, there's not enough sherry in there to overpower, but it does have a nice bit of weight into the glass. The sherry has this, like I said, kind of syrupy, kind of stewed figs, stewed raisins kind of element to it. So up front, you get that orange peel, you get the orange bitters, you get the Angostura bitters coming at you. When it hits your tongue, you get the whiskey, you get that lovely kind of malty influence, you get that sherry influence from the whiskey, and then the tail end of the cocktail, you get the sherry, you get that PX sherry kind of lingering and really kind of coating your mouth with some really tasty flavors. Yeah, it's just a very nice cocktail. It's surprisingly deep. I mean, old fashions, they do kind of have a similar kind of profile. This does change it up, and I do enjoy changing up old fashions in different ways to kind of give me different flavors, and this does give the cocktail a nice journey. You get your whiskey, you get your sherry, it gives it something different and keeps things lively. Are there any old-fashioned riffs that you have tried that you think I should try? Make sure to let me know down in the comments below, and I might just make that cocktail. In the meantime, I'm going to keep on enjoying this, and I will see you next time. Sláinte.